Good morning, dear students. Last class we have completed the chapter gaseous state, and here we are going to start a new chapter, that is thermodynamics. So thermo means actually heat, dynamics actually movement, the heat movement, or we can say thermodynamics is a branch of chemistry which deals with the interconversion of different forms of energy. So it deals with the study of different forms of energy and their interconversions. Okay, so thermodynamics, it is which deals with study of different forms of energy and their transformations. Or we can say, or the interrelationship between heat, work, and energy and their transformation. The interrelationship between heat, work and energy and their transformations, this is known as the thermodynamics. So before going thermodynamics, before the studying of thermodynamics, we should acquainted with some terms so that it becomes easier to explain. Okay, so first let us what are the different terms of thermodynamics. So come to the different terms of thermodynamics. So first come to system. So what is system? The system is that which is under observation or which is under study. Suppose I want to study about this pen, then now this pen is known as the system. Okay, suppose I want to study about the water here kept in this beaker, then this water is known as the system. So that means this is the specific part of the universe which is under study, that is known as its system. And except this system, what is the remaining part of the universe? That is known as surrounding. Except this system, what is the remaining part of the universe? That is known as the surrounding. Suppose I want to study about this water, then the water is known as the system, and this room where it is kept, and this water and this room, except this and this room is totally known as its surrounding. Okay, suppose in this sense, not only the total universe, but what is the part actually interact with this system, the region which interact with this system, actually that is known as the surrounding. Okay, so suppose there is some region, you want to study about this person, and this person suppose known as the system, and what is the remaining part, this part is known as the surrounding. Okay, so system and surrounding. The specific region which is under study, that is known as the system, and the specific part which is under study, the chemical behavior or composition of about that, is known as system, and except the system, what is the remaining part that is known as the surrounding. Okay. So next term is surrounding. Next, another term that is known as boundary. So the specific region, the portion which separates the system from the surrounding is known as boundary. So this portion or the specific part which separates the system from the surrounding is known as boundary. Suppose here again I want to study about water, and water is the system here, and total the room is known as the surrounding, and this beaker will separate the system from the surrounding, that is known as the boundary. Similarly, look here, suppose I have kept water in this bottle, and this room is known as the surrounding, and the water here known as the system, and this bottle is known as boundary. And the boundary may be real and may be imaginary, it may be flexible, it may be rigid, or it may be diathermal, or it may be isothermal. Diathermal means heat can exchange from system to surrounding, and isothermal, no temperature or no change of heat takes place, then that is known as isothermal. So it may be diathermal or it may be adiabatic process. So adiabatic in nature, it's not process, that is adiabatic in nature. In this way, boundaries are of different types. So heat change may take place or heat may not change place. If the heat remains constant, that is the adiabatic. We can say the adiabatic boundary. If heat change takes place from system to surrounding, that is known as the that is known as the diathermal. Okay. So in this way, there are different types of boundary. And another term that is known as boundary. Next come to this system, again classified into three types. One is known as open system, another known as closed system, and another known as isolated system. So open system, closed system, and isolated system. So the system is divided into three types depending on whether the mass or the energy transfer takes place from system to surrounding or surrounding to system. So in this, these are classified into three types. One, the exchange of mass, another exchange of heat. So if mass or matter, mass or we can say matter. Instead of mass, we can say matter. If the matter and heat both interchange takes place between the system to surrounding or surrounding to system, then that is known as an open system. Okay, so both matter and heat exchange takes place, then that is known as the open system. Look here, so I have kept water in a beaker, then I supply heat to it. So if we supply heat, then what happens? The water will evaporate. So the water evaporates. So in this way, loss of mass takes place, or exchange of mass takes place, exchange of matter takes place, the loss of water takes place, exchange of matter takes place from system to surrounding, as well as heat transfer also takes place. So in this way, so both exchange of heat and mass takes place, then that is known as an open system. And closed system, another question, the human body is also an open system. Okay. Next, closed system. So closed system, that is no matter exchange takes place, only heat exchange takes place. Then that is known as open system. So between system to surrounding or between surrounding to system, if the heat exchange takes place but no matter exchange takes place, then that is known as a closed system. Look here, so water kept in this closed bottle. So this is a closed bottle. So if we have supply some heat, then the inside this water will increase the temperature, its heat will increase. Okay, so in this but no exchange of matter takes place because it is closed. So in this way, no matter exchange takes place, but only heat exchange takes place. If you keep it at low temperature, then its temperature will be low. If we keep at high temperature, then its temperature will increase or heat will increase. So in this way, the heat exchange takes place, but no change of matter takes place, then that is known as a closed system. Okay, so no matter exchange takes place, only heat exchange takes place. That is known as a closed system. An isolated system, suppose milk or tea kept in a thermoflask. So if it kept in a thermoflask, then neither matter nor heat exchange takes place. So between system to surrounding or surrounding to system. So in this way, that is known as the isolated system. So neither matter nor heat exchange takes place. That is known as isolated system. No matter exchange, only the heat exchange takes place. That is known as a closed system. Both the matter and heat exchange takes place between the system to surrounding. That is known as an open system. Okay, so these are what is system, surrounding, boundary, and what are the types of system. Next come to another types of system. The systems are again classified into two types. One is known as homogeneous system, another known as heterogeneous system. So what is homogeneous system? Homogeneous system is which is uniform throughout. Its composition is same and it is uniform throughout, and there is no different phases. Okay, no different phases. Look here, generally what do you mean by phase? So phase means initially what you when we say about the states of matter, generally we say that there are three states of matter: solid, liquid, gases. But in thermodynamics, these states are actually known as phase. In thermodynamics, what you initially know, that is the state, the states are known as your phase. So phase, there are three phases, that is solid phase and liquid phase and gaseous phase. Okay, so there are different phases: solid, liquid and gaseous phases. So if a system is consists of only one phase and it is uniform throughout, and that is known as the homogeneous system. So I have kept some water here. So it is uniform throughout. Whenever you look, it looks like one. This is an example of a homogeneous system. Suppose you take the sugar solution or you take the salt solution. All are some examples of homogeneous system. Then heterogeneous system, which is not uniform throughout, which have different compositions and which have different boundaries between different phases. Suppose ice kept in water. If ice kept in water, we can say that ice floats on water. So as ice floats on water, it consists of two phases. One is a solid phase, another liquid phase. So in this way, that is not, although the composition is same, both ice and water, both are the same composition, the formula is H2O. But this is not an homogeneous system. That is an example of a heterogeneous system, because that consists of two different phases. That is, one is ice, the solid phase, another water, the liquid phase. So in this way, which consists of different phases and which is not uniform throughout, that is known as heterogeneous system, and which is uniform throughout, that is known as homogeneous system, which consists of one phase and which is uniform throughout, that is known as homogeneous system. So again, systems are classified into two types. One is homogeneous system and another known as heterogeneous system. Okay. So I think first to note down up to these points. Next we will discuss some other terminologies, other terms. So, system, it is the specific part of the universe which is under study and where energy exchange or matter exchange takes place. Surrounding, it represents the rest part of the universe which surrounds the system and can interact with the system. Boundary, the region separating the system from the surrounding is known as boundary. Boundary may be real or imaginary. So there may be distance of some boundary or it may not be some boundary, just we have to imagine. And it may be rigid or flexible. Balloon, that is flexible, and if we consider about this glass, this is rigid. It may be rigid or flexible. It may exchange heat or it may transfer heat or it cannot transfer heat. In this it may be diathermal or adiabatic. Open system and system which can exchange matter as well as energy with the surrounding is called an open system. So evaporation of water from a beaker. Closed system, a system which may exchange energy but not matter with its surrounding is known as closed system. Hot tea kept in a kettle. So, isolated system, a system which can neither exchange matter nor heat with the surrounding is known as isolated system. Example, hot tea kept in a thermoflask. Homogeneous system, if all the constituent present in the thermoflask, so if all the constituent present in the system, if all the constituents present in the system are in the same phase and the same composition, that is uniform throughout, then it is called homogeneous system. Example, mixture of any two gases or any two mixable liquids. Heterogeneous system, if all the constituents present in the system are not in the same phase and the composition is not uniform, then this is called heterogeneous system. Any mixture of any two solids, mixture of two immiscible liquids, or we can say the mixture of water and ice, that is also a heterogeneous system. Okay. Next come to some other terms. Now come to macroscopic properties. So macroscopic properties means that properties which depends on the large amount, that is the bulk, which depends on the bulk phenomenon, not the individual particles. That is known as macroscopic particles. So it does not, the properties which are generally not considered for individual particles like atoms, molecules, ions, etc., but depends on whole total mass of some substance, then that are generally known as macroscopic properties. So surface tension, temperature, pressure, density, these properties are not considered for individual particle, which are not considered for individual particle but considered for large mass of some substance, that are known as macroscopic properties. So thermodynamics is a macroscopic phenomena, not microscopic or for individual particles. So there are different properties, and these macroscopic properties are classified into two types. One is known as extensive property, another known as intensive property. So extensive property and another intensive property. So the different properties are the which depends on the amount of the substance, which depends on the amount, which depends on the mass of the substance or amount of the substance, that are known as extensive properties. That are known as extensive properties. So mass is extensive. If you take small amount of the substance, mass is less. If you take more amount, then its mass is more. In this way, mass is an extensive property. Similarly, volume. Volume is also an extensive property. So if you take small, suppose a small amount of some liquid substance, a small amount of substance, its volume is less. If you take large amount of the substance, then its volume is more. In this way, volume, mass, these are extensive properties. Some other extensive properties are internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, free energy. So these are some other terms we will discuss later. So these are some energy terms that are also known as that are also extensive properties. So the properties which depends on the amount of the substance by changing the mass or by changing the amount of the substance which changes, that are known as extensive properties. Next, intensive properties. So intensive properties are the properties which does not depends on the amount of the substance. These are the individual properties of substances which does not depends on amount. Which depends on amount and does not depend on amount, that are intensive properties. For example, if you take temperature. So suppose from a bucket you take 1 glass of water and take its temperature, measure its temperature, and also you can at the same time measure the temperature from the bucket of water. So in both cases the temperature will remain same. It does not depends on what is the amount. So in this way temperature is intensive properties. Similarly, surface tension, viscosity, then density, mass by volume. So as the mass increases, volume increases. So mass by volume, that are also known as the intensive properties. So refractive index, surface tension, viscosity, temperature, pressure, density, all these are intensive properties because that does not depend on the amount of the substance, and which depends on the amount of substance, that are known as extensive property. Volume is extensive property, but when we consider about the molar volume, then that is known as intensive property. So all molar properties like your molarity, mole fraction, molality, so all these molar properties are generally intensive properties. Similarly, all the specific properties like specific gravity, specific heat, these are also intensive properties. Okay, and remember another thing, that is extensive property. Extensive property divided by extensive property is an intensive property, or extensive property by mass, this is also an intensive property. Now I think it's clear what is extensive property and what is intensive property. So actually it depends on the amount of the substance. With the increase in mass the property increases, that are extensive property, and property which does not depend on the mass, that are known as intensive property. That has remains constant, whether we increase the amount of the substance or more amount, that are known as the intensive properties. So extensive property, intensive property, so these are some macroscopic properties. So next come to another characteristics, another term, that is state function. So first come to what is state variables. State variables. So state variables, to define any system, generally we have to express them in terms of some other parameters, other thermodynamic properties, and that are known as the state variables. For example, when I say that helium gas is present, or oxygen gas present at 25 degrees Celsius, 25 degrees Celsius, and at 1 atmospheric pressure, and its volume is suppose 10 liter. 10 liter of, suppose I said 10 liter of helium gas is present in a container at 1 atmospheric pressure and 25 degrees Celsius. So to define this helium gas, what is the condition of this helium gas? I have to express some temperature term, some pressure term, we have to express pressure term and volume term. And there is also the amount of the substance mole is also there. So to express any thermodynamic quantity, to express any thermodynamic state, we have to express some other properties. In terms of some other properties, we describe the state of a system, and that are known as state variables. So temperature, pressure, volume, these are known as state variables. So another thing I want to say here, what is the state of a system? So what does mean by state of a system? So state of a system means what is the condition of a system. So whenever we study about any system, we know what is system. Whenever we study, so how it exists, how the system exists. So the system, what is it? How it exists? What is its condition? So that is known as the state of a system. So suppose question, suppose I say the example, that is oxygen gas is present, or 22.4 liter of oxygen gas is present at 1 atmosphere and 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvin. So the oxygen has the conditions of some temperature, the condition, it has some conditions of some pressure, it has the conditions of some volume, and we have taken also 1 mole of the gas. So in this 1 mole of oxygen, suppose that is the system, and to define the oxygen, so oxygen gas exists, how it exists? So it exists at some temperature, at some pressure, and it has some volume. So to express any system, what are the different conditions we express? So all total is known as the state of a system, and to express that is known as the condition of a system. And the state of a system, to define the state of a system, we use some parameters, some other properties. That properties are known as state variables. Okay, so these are known as state variables. So now I think we are clear what is the state of a system and what is state variable. Okay, so next come to another term that is known as a state function. Next come to state function. So what is state function? So there are some properties which does not depend on the process by which this carries out. Which does not depend on the process by which the change has been carried out. That just depends on the initial state and final state. That are known as state functions. That are known as state functions. And another is known as path function. So path function is that which depends on some changes, if some changes takes place from one state to another, and how this change takes place, which depends on the process or how the changes takes place. That is known as state. That is known as path function. Okay, so look here, state function and path function. Suppose a oxygen gas exists, or 10 liter of oxygen gas exists at 27 degrees Celsius and 1 atmospheric pressure. 10 liter of oxygen gas exists at 27 degrees Celsius and 1 atmospheric pressure. So it has volume V1, temperature T1 and pressure P1. And let it changes to the NTP condition, NTP condition, that is at 0 degrees Celsius and 1. So instead of 1 of NTP, suppose another example, suppose it changes. Suppose oxygen gas exists, 10 oxygen gas exists at 27 degrees Celsius and 1 atmosphere pressure. Suppose it changes to another temperature, that is suppose 37 degrees Celsius and 2 atmospheric pressure. So in this way, its temperature is T2 and pressure is P2, and obviously by changing temperature and pressure, the volume also changes. Suppose this volume changes to V2. So this is known as one state of the system, and this is known as another state of the system. So this is known as one condition, also known as one state of the system, and this is known as another state of the system. So by changing from here to here, anything, any property which does not depend on how this change has been carried out, how this change has been carried out, the property does not depend on how the change has been carried out, just changes on the initial state and the final state, then that is known as state functions. And if the property depends on how the change has been carried out, then that are known as path functions. Okay. So P1 V1 T1 to P2 V2 V2, the property which only depends on the initial state and the final state, not the process or not the path, that are state function, and which depends on how the process carried out, that are known as path functions. So internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, free energy, all these are state functions. Internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, free energy, these are state functions, while that of work and heat are path functions. Work and heat are path functions. Okay, so work, heat, and we can say the specific heat also, the heat capacities. Work, heat, and heat capacities, these are the three properties. Three quantities which depends on only the path, that are path functions, except thus what are the other functions, that are your state functions. So work, heat capacities. So these are the path functions, except this all the other functions are known as your state functions. Okay, so look here, suppose another example. Suppose there are two states are there, 2 points are there. A is there and B is there. Initial state is A and final state is A. So starting from A to reach at B, I can take different paths. Suppose I take in this way path to reach at B. I may take, this is the path to reach at B. I may take in this way the path to reach at B. So there are different paths. So there are some properties which depends on how this process is carried out. So that are known as the path functions. So in both cases, in all these cases, the work done is different. In this way, work is a path function. While the initial state which has some energy, and how this process carried out, that does not depend. What is the final energy? Initial energy. What is the final energy? So they are known as state functions. So internal energy is a state function. Okay. So what are the state function? What are the path function? I think you clear now. Next come to some thermodynamic processes. Thermodynamic processes. So whenever some changes takes place from this A to B, and A has some properties P1, B1, T1, and suppose them and heat, that is theta, and B, this is P2, V2, and T2, and it is theta 1 and theta 2. So there are some properties. This is at one condition and this is at another condition. So by changing any one of this variable, if this change takes place, if A to B this change takes place by changing any one of these properties, keeping other constants. So that are different paths, that are different processes. In this way, whenever any change takes place by keeping among these four terms, among the three terms constant and changing by another property, we can say that there are different types of thermodynamic processes. So in general, there are four types of thermodynamic processes. So one is known as isothermal process. Isothermal process. So isothermal, you can state isothermal means temperature is constant. So the change which carried out at constant temperature is known as isothermal process. That means dT equal to 0, or we can say del T equal to 0. So at constant temperature, the pressure volume may change. If the temperature is constant, any process, one state to another state change takes place by keeping the temperature constant, that is known as isothermal process. Okay. Next, another process known as adiabatic process. Adiabatic process. So the process in which heat is kept constant. So you can write Q here. Okay, not theta. Write here Q, and this is also Q. So, adiabatic process, your heat remains constant. By keeping the heat constant, if the temperature, in this case temperature may rise. For example, if the reaction takes place in the insulated medium, then what happens? Inside that temperature may increase or temperature may decrease, but the heat remains constant. Then that process is known as adiabatic process. Here dQ equal to 0, or you can say del Q equal to 0. Okay. So adiabatic process where heat remains constant throughout the change, that is known as your adiabatic process. If the temperature remains constant, that is known as your isothermal process. Next, isoporic process. Isoporic process. So in this process, volume of the system remains constant. The pressure or temperature, heat may change, but the volume remains constant. If the volume remains constant, then that process is known as isoporic process. Del V equal to 0 or dV equal to 0, then that is known as your isoporic process. Volume remains constant, no change in volume, no change in heat, no change in temperature. And another isobaric process. So isobaric process is that one where pressure remains constant. So dP equal to 0 or del P equal to 0. Then that is known as isobaric process. No change in pressure. Pressure is constant. Then that change. So volume, temperature, heat may change. Volume, temperature, heat may change, but the pressure remains the constant. That P1 here, P1 here. Then that is known as isobaric process. Isoporic, volume constant. Adiabatic, heat constant. Isothermal, temperature constant. So if we draw the PV diagram, then how the nature of the curve appears, just look here in different processes. So if we draw the PV diagram, so in the x-axis the volume is taken, and in the x-axis volume, in the y-axis pressure is taken, and volume is taken. So volume remains constant. Whatever pressure you may apply, volume is constant. Whatever pressure. So pressure increases in this way and volume is constant. So the volume is constant. Isoporic process. So this is the graph. This is the graph where V is constant. This is known as isoporic process. And pressure is constant. Whatever the volume, temperature, etc. If the pressure is constant, then what is the nature of the curve? The nature of the curve is like this. So this is isobaric and this is isoporic. Isoporic process, isobaric process. And you know, in what is the graph, nature of the graph in isothermal process at constant temperature, how by changing pressure, how the volume changes. So volume is inversely proportional to pressure. In this way, the nature of the curve is like this. So this is known as isothermal process. And for adiabatic process, this is also a curve like, but this curve is somehow more steep. Its slope is more than that of the isothermal. So this is adiabatic. This is the graph for adiabatic process. This is the graph for adiabatic. This is for isothermal. This is for isobaric process, and this is for isobaric process. Okay. So if we write what is the relation between them. So here you know in isothermal process PV equal to constant. Already in characteristic you know P volume is inversely proportional to P or PV equal to constant. In adiabatic process, the PV gamma equal to constant. PV to the power gamma, that is equal to constant. And isobaric process, so the pressure is constant, and isobaric process, here volume remains constant. This is the nature of curve. Next come to another process that is known as your cyclic process. Cyclic process. So cyclic process means if a state changes, if a system changes or undergo different changes, if a system undergo different changes or it undergo different states by following different paths, and again it comes back to its original path, original position, then that is known as cyclic process. So cyclic process is a combination of so many number of processes. Look here, suppose in this way, if it is carried out in different processes and again come back to its original, then this is known as a cyclic process. After carrying out so many processes, if it reaches the original state in this way, okay, so this is known as a cyclic process. After carrying out several processes, after changes of several processes, if reached at the initial position, then that is known as a cyclic process. So, next come to macroscopic property. Thermodynamics does not deals with the properties of individual particles of the system, but it deals with the matter involved. So the properties like temperature, pressure, volume, density, surface tension, melting point, boiling point, viscosity, etc., which arise from the work behavior of matter are called macroscopic properties. So macroscopic properties are of two types, extensive properties and intensive properties. So the thermodynamic properties, which depends upon the quantity of matter present in the system, are called extensive properties: force, mass, volume, internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, free energy, etc. And intensive properties, thermodynamic properties which are independent of quantity of matter in the system. So these are one type of constants are called intensive properties. Example: surface tension, viscosity, melting point, boiling point, refractive index, density, temperature, pressure, specific gravity, specific heat, molar volume, dipole moment, etc. Remember, whenever it comes the word molar volume, molar heat, etc., so that are intensive properties. Similarly, all specific heat, specific gravity, all specific properties are also intensive properties. And remember, extensive by extensive is given, that is also an intensive properties. Okay, so note down these points. Next, note down these points: state of the system and state variables. So state of the system means the conditions of the system which is described in terms of certain observable properties such as temperature, pressure, volume, etc. and state variables. The measurable properties which are required to describe the state of a system are called state variables. Temperature, pressure, volume, enthalpy, etc. These are state variables. Next, state functions. So, the thermodynamic properties by which we can describe the state variables that are known as the thermodynamic properties like internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, free energy, work function, etc., whose values do not depend on the path followed. That depends upon only the initial state and final state. However the process is carried out, that does not depend. That are known as your state functions. And path functions, the properties or the quantities which depends upon the process, how it is carried out, that are known as your path functions. Work and heat are path functions. These are the form of energy, while the other forms of energy, enthalpy, entropy, free energy, work functions, these are state functions. So next come to thermodynamic processes. The processes of changing the thermodynamic system from one state to another is called thermodynamic processes. So different types of thermodynamic processes are there. Isothermal process. If a process is carried out at constant temperature dT equal to 0, then it is called isothermal process. Isobaric process, if the pressure is constant, whatever may be the volume, if the pressure is constant, same, it is known as your isobaric process. Isochoric process, in the process is carried out at constant volume, then it is called isochoric process. So, this is your isochoric process. The volume is constant, whatever may be, the volume is constant. Okay, and isothermal process, this is for iso-PV diagram for isothermal process. This is PV diagram for isobaric process, pressure is constant. Then adiabatic process. So if a process is carried out without any change in heat between the system and surroundings, then it is called adiabatic process. So dq is equal to 0. This is adiabatic process. Adiabatic process is more steep, it has more slope than that of isothermal process. Because for isothermal, the equation is PV equal to constant, and for adiabatic process, that is PV gamma equal to constant. So in this way, and if we carried out a number of processes so that we reach at the final step, then at the initial state, the final step is equal to the initial state, then that is called the cyclic process. So the system undergoes a number of different processes and finally comes back to its initial state, then the entire process is known as cyclic process. So for cyclic process, the change in internal energy dU equal to 0 and dH is equal to 0. And what is the reversible process, irreversible process, and what are the internal energy, that what is work, what is heat, and how this exchange takes place, we'll discuss in next class.